The Mojave Desert is littered with unusual and fascinating attractions. Attractions like dark slot canyons and giant sand dunes, but none have captured the imagination more than the mysterious Sentinel Enigma, more often called the Mojave Megaphone. It sits out in the middle of the barren and windswept desert, where the nearest paved road is dozens of miles away, and I was heading out there to see it for myself with my 2-year-old son. To get there, we were taking Afton Canyon, the gateway to the Mojave Road. The canyon is marked at both ends by passing under the Union Pacific Railroad Bridge.
He's so excited about going under the bridge.
The railroad runs the length of the canyon, and I'd read about a train that had lost its brakes and derailed decades ago.
Somewhere around here are the crashed boxcars, the crashed train. Actually, I think I can see it.
To our right?
Yeah, I think that's it, buried in the sand.
Rather than remove them, it was deemed easier to just bury the boxcars. Of course, the sands along the wash in the canyon are constantly shifting, and occasionally the boxcars show up.
That's the Mojave River to our left, by the way.
It's hard to believe that this whole canyon was carved out by the slow Mojave River. Most of the year, it's little more than a trickle or even just a series of puddles.
That looks like we're fording the Mojave River.
That was sticky.
We need to start making our way off to the right.
Where are we at right now? I'm confused.
For a kid.
The Spooky Canyon?
Yeah, I do.
You ready to see the Spooky Canyon?
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Spooky Canyon is one of those hidden attractions that's well worth a stop and explore, but on the walk up, things weren't quite looking the way I remembered.
I think I'm going to have a very disappointed 2-year-old when we get back to the vehicle and he realizes we're not going in Spooky Canyon, and it looks like the mouth to the canyon has collapsed and it's full of boulders now.
Yeah.
You see Spooky Canyon behind you? You see it's broken?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah, so that was slow.
It's broken, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got some good news. I got back to the car and opened up my phone and looked at the maps and found out I'm at the wrong canyon. The actual Spooky Canyon is just around the corner there, like so close. So we get to go to Spooky Canyon. You want to have some comment about how I'm an idiot?
Oh, they know, I think. They know.
Easy mistake. I guess I should have looked at the map first. I just knew it was underneath a bridge.
That's a really good
under
idea.
the
Isn't this
tracks.
video sponsored by a mapping company?
It is. I probably
Wow.
should have looked at
Man.
that first. So now we're going to go to the correct Spooky Canyon.
This time, things were looking right.
You ready to go to Spooky Canyon?
Yeah. I do.
You so excited?
Yeah. I do.
As excited as he was, my son would not forgive me for my mistake.
Dead.
Yeah, silly dad, I went to the wrong one.
Yeah, it's dead one.
Silly dada.
Yeah, I'm just doing away with. Sleepy dada. That was looking.
Yeah, but this is the right one, isn't it?
Yeah. Sleepy dada.
You're not going to drop it, are you?
Spooky Canyon is a steep slot canyon with concrete-like walls filled with small rocks.
Where am I over there? Oh. I see you. Yeah.
The further you go up the canyon, the narrower and darker it gets, until eventually the overhanging walls block all of the sunlight.
I got how my head white on that.
Did you get a good shot?
Yeah. I see that rock. I see that rock. Stuck.
Keep coming.
Yeah.
This is the end.
This is stairs. There.
Yeah.
It's pretty at the stairs.
It's spooky up the stairs.
Yeah.
Alright, show me where we're going.
That way.
That way.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I made a silly mistake and took us to the wrong canyon. And I'm glad that the actual spooky canyon is still here. Of course, you never know. It could take one flood, one serious rainfall for this to collapse. But it is really cool to visit, especially go up into the dark spot where it's so narrow there's only like a couple of little shafts of light that come through.
I have fun.
You had fun.
Yeah.
That wasn't a train.
That was so high. It's so high. Oh.
That was very sweet. Say bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye.
With my son still telling me that silly cars don't go on train tracks, we continued along the best part of Afton Canyon.
So we're back on the Mojave Road now. You can see that's that red line that we've got there. The red line is the route that I've planned out for this trip, so it actually goes off the Mojave Road several times. And this is all on the app that I use for all of my route planning and navigation, which is OnX Off Road. And one of the cool things about OnX Off Road is it has like thousands of recommended trails all across the US. It's a great way to find new trails for you to explore. And the Mojave Road is one of those that's marked on here. There's also a series of trails called the East Mojave Heritage Trail, and that is what some of my offshoots are based on and some of what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. If you are interested in checking out OnX Off Road, the app, you can get a discount, 20% off, if you use the QR code that's probably been on the screen for a minute or two, or you can use the link in the description or the code Revere20.
God, these cliffs are so rad.
The weathered cliffs and spires of the canyon wall were beautiful, changing from orange and red through white, gray, and black as we drove along it.
That is super low. I did hear that they changed it so it drains properly, because this used to be like top of the tires, kind of deep.
Ooh, this is a water crossing.
At the far end of Afton Canyon, we once again passed under the Union Pacific Railroad Bridge before doing one last water crossing and saying goodbye to David and his son. they would be leaving, but we'd be heading back out to find one of Mojave's more mysterious attractions.
Last night, David had to leave us to go home, and then me and my boy ended up staying over in a hotel in Barstow so that we could get him in a bath and do some laundry. And now we're basically right back out where David left us at the end of Afton Canyon, because we're going to go back out into the Mojave Preserve to visit something that I don't know a whole lot about, but I've wanted to visit for quite a long time, and that's the Mojave Megaphone.
To get to the Megaphone, we drove back along the length of Afton Canyon, but instead of heading left under the railroad bridge, we climbed up to the right and started heading across the desert.
You're doing the megaphone?
Yeah, we're going to the Megaphone today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you excited to see the Megaphone?
Yeah.
There are a few routes to get to the Megaphone on OnX. One that goes across kind of open desert across to my right, a very sandy road, and I went and checked it out. And then there are a couple that go really far out the way that unfortunately I just don't have time to go do that kind of route. So we're sticking with the railroad tracks, mostly because it's simple and it's relatively fast going, go about 20 miles an hour along here, and it's comfortable. Whereas a really sandy road was kind of washboardy and I was going super slow. There's little washouts along the way.
The road along the tracks had been dead straight for just over 7 miles before taking a sharp right turn to the south onto the old Tidewater Railroad grade at the abandoned town site of Crucero. The town used to serve the two railroads at the crossing from 1911, but when the Tidewater Railroad was decommissioned in 1943, the town was left to decay. Despite this area of desert being extremely remote, there were still people out there.
Well, we just drove past what I think is a house out here. There's a bunch of solar panels and someone's walking around there, and it's very, very remote. I can't imagine living this far away from anyone or anything, but I guess that's how some people like to live.
Several miles further to the south, we finally got to the Megaphone.
I'm on the phone.
What about it?
It's big.
There doesn't seem to be a footpath up to this thing, so we're just gonna have to scramble across a bunch of rocks. It is truly just out in the middle of absolutely nowhere, perched up on top. So we're gonna go up and do our best to go up and check it out. I may have to carry him.
The microphone is out there. I'll see the microphone. Oh, there's a big rock there.
There's a big rock there. That's why I'm carrying you.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a scramble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this is hard work.
There it is. It's big.
It is big, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you filming it?
Yeah. That is cool.
You ready to shout in the megaphone?
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
I don't want to.
Oh, that was hard work getting up here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for one of us.
Yeah. Echo.
Did you hear echo?
Yeah.
There are lots of theories as to how the megaphone got there and what its purpose is, ranging from the mundane all the way up to aliens. Some say it was installed as part of a secret weapon testing program, potentially to transport chemical weapons or even as a megaphone warning of upcoming tests. Others claim that the crosshairs mark a location. One end of it points towards a hillside that's littered with petroglyph-covered rocks, and the other side is said to point towards a secret cave system that's filled with gold nuggets. It's possible that, like the Utah monolith, it was just done for the sake of it or to create some interest in an otherwise mundane area of desert. It's thought that the megaphone weighs upwards of several hundred pounds, so it's hard to believe that someone would carry it up there without a solid purpose. However it got there, and whatever it's for, it's been sitting there for decades, and no one truly knows why.
I do not regret coming out here because it's one of those things that I have wanted to see for a very long time. It's one of those things that's been on the list of places to visit. So I'm happy that we did it, and he was excited to see it and keeps talking about the Megaphone or whatever it was. And now we're heading south, going to do some more roads that I've never done before. We're heading along Crucero Road, which was described as a relaxing desert drive, which I think is about to put him to sleep. And then we're going to find a place to camp.
I'm not sure I agree with the website that described the road as a relaxing desert drive. It was a nice setting, but the road had deep washboards for miles, crossed by hundreds of long dried up, shallow washes that required slowing way down. It was rough, bumpy, and slow going, but somehow still managed to lull my son to sleep. The southern half of Crucero Road splits to either cross or go around the huge, dried-up Broadwell Lake.
I had two options which way to go here. I could have continued straight to go across a completely flat, dried-up lake bed, which looks really cool, and probably would have given me some cool drone shots as well. But having seen how wet some of the spots on Soda Lake were, I decided I'll take the road that goes around it, just to play it safe. I'd hate to end up stuck in the middle of the plot. Well, after, I don't know, maybe like 50, 60 miles of pretty rough roads, we have reached the delightful town of Ludlow, and I'm airing up, ready to get on the I-40. We're gonna head east back into the Mojave Preserve and find ourselves a spot to camp for the night. But first I've got to fill up with what's probably the US's most expensive gasoline at $6.79 a gallon. Of course, the GX takes premium as well, which doesn't help.
I wanted to drive Route 66, but after seeing how grim it was, I changed my mind and we went to find camp.
We got ourselves a nice little spot on the southern end of the preserve, just a few miles in, and got here just as the sun was setting. Can't actually see the sunset from here, but just up on the hill over there, you got a view across the valley, and it's really pretty. So, gonna get set up here and get some dinner going for tonight. And we're all alone tonight, which little guy was sad. He asked if he could play with his new friends, but he has to make do with me tonight, or all of his many cars that are inside the trailer there. But I think he'll be happy. I think he'll be okay. Do you want some pizza for dinner?
Yeah, I do. I do a pizza.
Okay. All right. I'll go get pizza going. Actually, I'm gonna pop the top up first.
On our final morning in the desert, we packed up to go visit the Kelso Dunes.
What you do?
Coming you. Where's your frisbee?
There is.
You coming?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
It's in these.
And our final stop are these sand dunes, Kelso sand dunes. So the little guy can get out and play in the sand for a little bit before we start to head home. It is amazing how much longer this trip took with 3 kids. We'd actually planned to do a huge amount of the Mojave Heritage Trail, but that's okay because we really did it for them. And by slowing down, I think they had a lot more fun.
The dunes ended up being the perfect end to a great trip. I'd had the chance to hang out with some old friends, and my son got to make some new friends, and at the end of it all, I had some time to slow down and play in the sand with my best friend. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. Also, consider subscribing to the channel so you can see more like it. My wife and I will be heading back up to Alaska with the little guy, and it's promising to be a great trip.